Hey everyone, it's Dave, continuing on with the restoration of the TL-125, and today I'm directing my attention to the engine, try to clean things up and see if we can make this thing look presentable for the new freshly painted frame and all the other goodies going back together. Alright, now a smaller wheel, and let's see if we can get into some of these tight spots. Alright, let's see if we can clean these caps up a little bit. Alright, we can make that look better. I'll take it over to my wheel, my buffer. Okay, so here's kind of a before and after. And I'm not going too crazy. I could polish this even further, but I think that's quite enough. Looks good compared to that. And now we'll head over to do this one. Alright, so that's literally 45 seconds in the glass bead cabinet. And then we're going to go from this to this over on the buffer. And again, I could go 2 more pads softer with different compounds and get this mirror shine, but I don't think it's necessary. Alright, so the first step from the glass cabinet is to this soft wheel. And that's what it looks like on this wheel. And then I'm going to go over to the other side with the buffing wheel and shine it up even further. And so now with the gasket in place, there, that looks beautiful. And we'll just torque that down and we'll move on. And continuing on with the front side of the engine. I'm also trying a Dremel tool with, I got a little beat up old wire brush on it, which doesn't have much life left in it, but we're going to try, see if we can get into some of these nooks and crannies. Alright, it's getting there, a little better each time I step back and look at it, but I think it's about time to address the elephant in the room, which is this cover. So let's get this cover off And we'll start working on that next. Alright, so it looks like this was painted at some point. Looks terrible. And we need to fix it. So I don't know how tight these screws are. I would much rather have 6 faceted bolts here. But originally came with screws. Hopefully we can get them out without stripping any of them. Oh, that was good. Okay. Let's make notice that they're all the same size. No, this one's longer. Okay, I can see the boss is kind of raised up from this plane, so this one's longer. Okay, they're all the same size except for this one. That's easy enough to remember. Now we've got to break this thing loose and see if we're able to save this gasket or not. Alright, I don't see any oil leaking out of it being stood up on its end like this. No oil should come out of here. I don't know what's in here. Hopefully a bunch of springs don't fly out. Yay! Alright. Looks good in here. This gasket also looks good if I can get it unstuck from here. As easy as it was unstuck from this half, we may be able to reuse it. Alright, let's see how lucky we might get taking this off. This gasket looks to be in good shape. I would imagine it had been replaced when this thing was painted. So let's just see. Look at that. That definitely may be reusable. Okay, I've got a seal here that was not leaking at all. Might be able to salvage that. I would like to take off this clutch lever. Obviously I see a cotter pin here. I don't know if I pull that cotter pin out, will this thing just lift out? Alright, so I got that cotter pin there, and if I bang on this shaft, it pushes out. So I think if I pull that cotter pin out, I can pull the shaft this way, and then remove this whole lever. So let me try that. Alright, so I got the cotter pin out. Alright, there's a wrap spring on there, and when I pull this shaft out, this cam is going to go flying from that spring. So let's do this. Not bad. Not bad. Alright, that comes out. And that came out pretty easy. And of course this has got a couple flat spots on it. But, alright, let's do this cover over. We're going to start by sandblasting it. First I'm going to clean it, sandblast it, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like after sandblasting. But just remember how ugly this is. Okay, and here it is. Less than 10 minutes in the blast cabinet. Looks pretty good, but we got to get it shiny. So let's get started on that. Alright, so the first step I'm going to do is work this 8-inch Scotch-Brite soft cleaning pad on it. There's a lot of edges and nooks and crannies on this thing, so I'm not going to be able to get all of it with this pad, but let's get as much as we can, and then we'll have to get some smaller ones on maybe a die grinder or a Dremel. But first step is to clean up as much as I can on this 8-inch wheel. Alright, so here's about 10 minutes on the buffer with the cleaning pad on it. Looks pretty good. I ordered some, they haven't come in yet, but I ordered a bunch of smaller pieces that would go on like a Dremel or die grinder with smaller shapes to get in here and polish these areas. You know, I can't get to all of this stuff with this one big wheel, but I am able to get, you know, 70% of this thing, and I'm curious as to what it's going to look like in the end. I can't help myself. I'm going to polish this face up a little bit, and let's see what that might look like just with the buffing pad, the coarse buffing pad on the buffer. Alright, here's about 15 minutes on the coarse buffing wheel, and I don't know if I like this too much of a mirror shine. And the rest of the engine's going to have the kind of brushed look. And if you notice, when you try to go for the mirror shine, you see every little imperfection. So in order to get this case to be a mirror shine perfect, let's spend days on it. And I don't know that I want to spend days on it and have it not match the same sheen as the rest of the engine. So I'm going to have to wait until my other kit comes in with all the adapters for the Dremel and the die grinder. And at least at this point, you know, there's a lot more work that needs to be done to get this mirror finished looking good. You can see every little imperfection. So I have to work this whole face out and every little imperfection in here. And I don't know if I want to sign up for that. So I'm going to get my other bits and then attack this thing with the die grinder and the Dremel tool and maybe settle for just the brushed look, because I don't know if I really am going for this look. But anyway, that's how that looks after about 15 minutes on the buffing wheel. Alright, so here's the best that I can do with this thing. I put it back in the glass bead cabinet, starting it from scratch. I didn't like the highly polished look because the rest of the engine is not highly polished. I don't like the brushed look because the brush goes in all different directions and it just looks not good. So I'm kind of looking for the lightly polished look, which is what I ended up with. You know, out of the glass bead cabinet, little wire brushing, and then a little bit of polishing. And this is going to be the best I can do. And the best thing is to just, you know, take these parts to a vapor blaster which is like a sandblaster, but it uses water along with the media. And I mean, I've seen aluminum parts come out of vapor blasters. They look amazing. But I'm not taking this apart, or I'm not dropping parts off. I'm not dropping this case off somewhere to get it back with a big ding on the gasket surface because somebody dropped it, or they lost it, or they broke it. So this is it. You know, if you recall what it looked like before I did anything to it, it's greatly improved. It's just not perfect. But I'm hoping when I put this inside the freshly painted frame with the new suspension and the redone wheels and the tank and all that, that it will look fine. And I think it will. So I'm done with this engine part. I'm going to kind of set this aside, and I'm going to direct my attention to the frame and start priming and painting that in the next video. But I think I'm going to end the engine detailing video here, and that's what it ended up looking like. Not too bad, but not perfect. So there you go. Thanks for watching.